The Audi A3 Sportback is a really special car. It's got a great cabin, it's got a brilliant set of engines, and it's good to drive. And all of that adds up to it being a What Car of the Year winner. The good stuff starts with how the A3 drives. It handles really sharply and the steering is really precise. And there's oodles of grip when you go around the corners, and you can even fling it around without too much in the way of body roll. This is a very composed car. There are a few options in terms of suspension, and the SE setup we got on this car is the best combination of control and comfort. Go for a Sport or an S-Line or a bigger set of alloys and you will notice it crash through the bumps a bit more, but it is far from being the worst in the class. The best bit is, if you do go for a higher trim, you can still choose the comfier SE suspension for no extra cost. Avoid those bigger wheels, and this cabin is very quiet. The gear change is really slick and everything feels fantastically engineered. Now, company car buyers will understandably be drawn towards the small diesels, but the small turbocharged petrols are great as well. They've got plenty of pace, they're remarkably smooth, and they are surprisingly cheap to run. Now, this dash, and the cabin in general, feels beautifully simple. Everything feels wonderfully made, and this retractable screen is very neat. And it's really refreshing to find an infotainment system that's actually simple to use. Everything's controlled via these buttons here, which are raised so you can find them without taking your eyes off the road, and everything else is done through this dial. Even the entry-level versions of the A3 Sportback are really appealing, as you get Bluetooth, you get a USB connection, manual air conditioning, and you get voice control all as standard. The Sportback version of the A3 is slightly longer than the 3-door, which means you get a little bit extra legroom. And as a 6-footer, I fit back here perfectly and would be quite happy for a long journey. That's not quite the case in the middle, where you've got this raised floor that restricts foot space, but it's perfectly fine for a shorter trip. This boot has got an adjustable floor, which means you can either go for a bit of extra space like this, or you can go for an almost totally flat entry lip and a completely flat loading bay when you drop those seats down. In either case, it's a decent shape with no sort of jutty outy bits at the sides, and it's good size, about average for the class. Now, the Audi is not the cheapest car in its class, but any price premium is offset by the fact that it should hold on to its value really well, so it will be worth that bit more than its rivals when you come to sell it in a few years' time. Even if that weren't the case, then the A3 Sportback feels well worth both its price tag and its Car of the Year title. For more information, search for Audi A3 Sportback on whatcar.com, and while you're here, to keep up with all of our YouTube videos, do subscribe to our channel.